Now that spring is upon us, we have Nick Moon here from the Cecil County Parks and Recreation talking about what kind of programs are coming up this spring. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me again, Allison.
So, as I said, registration is coming up for a lot of the most popular programs like wiffle ball and lacrosse and kickball. So we'll start with the youngest athletes. We've got wiffle ball, t-ball, which is apparently different from wiffle ball, right?
Yeah, I guess it's a little different just because you give them a tee.
Oh,
but
okay. So what?
I was gonna say you just throw the t-ball in there, but yeah, it's wiffle ball, t-ball is actually it's interesting because like we just started advertising it. Like again, registration's open, kind of like what you just said, and we actually had some people that reached out to us on Facebook like, is this something you need? Like, why wouldn't they just do wiffle ball? But it's a hugely popular program to get kids, I guess. It's a very family-friendly like introduction to sports. You get the kids out and they learn wiffle ball, but parents are just as involved as they want to be. So it's it's an awesome bonding event for them to kind of teach their kids while in a coached environment.
Because these are really little kids. This is
yeah, these are little tiny tykes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do folks need to know?
So I mean, for wiffle ball, t-ball, it's really just if you're interested in getting a kid or your child out and involved in sports, it is potentially the best starting spot for you. You can get your kids out there from 2, up until 5. So there's different age brackets. We have one for ages 2 to 3, so the really little guys and girls, and then a little bit bigger at 4 and 5. But if they just want to get out and get involved, get their kids into something, wiffle ball, t-ball is the best place to start because they don't need any prior knowledge or any experience. They just need to get out there and want to have fun.
Nice. So when does that registration start? So
registration just opened for that probably within the last week and a half.
Okay.
And now it'll go up until the first day of April.
Cool.
So we've got a couple weeks left on it, and I mean, the program last year had a little over about 70 kids, and we're expecting to grow in that. I mean, we've already passed about 3/4 full on our initial registration block for the 2 to 3-year-olds. So it's filling up, and people are really excited for it.
Are there different locations, or do people play at one spot?
So it's all at Calvert Regional Park up in Northeast. A lot of grassy green area. Yeah, so it's just, the kids come in, we set up like the different fields all in the one spot so the parents can see their kids and they can be involved, and then, as they go between their practices and games, because they get to learn what they're doing and then they get to actually apply it, which is really cool for them, especially because seeing your 2 to 3-year-old in like their own team shirt and hat, like they get to do the whole part of actually playing the game. It's really fun. They all get to play in the one set environment.
Okay.
So that's really cool.
So if you're a little older and maybe looking for an introduction to a different sport like lacrosse, we have soft sticks lacrosse.
Yep.
So tell us about that.
So soft sticks lacrosse is basically, as you said, you kind of age through wiffle ball, t-ball. That's like a real first stepping stone. And soft sticks lacrosse is a introduction to lacrosse. So, at age 2 to 3, that's a little young to kind of get them involved, but now that they're up and kind of moving, it's a perfect starting spot to start learning the fundamentals of the sport. And it's really cool because we have multiple coaches who are all either former or current players.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Cool. So it sounds like a lot of younger coaches, or?
Yeah, high school and college. So young enough that they're really good with our kids, and most of them work in our kids program, so they have experience working with younger kids and getting them up and involved and active and excited to play.
Yeah.
And then some of them have continued on and played like club level at the college. So they have the ability to relate to the kids, but also, they're still currently playing. So they're still very in the know and in the sport.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome learning opportunity for someone who's just trying to start out playing lacrosse. And then finally, we have spring kickball. And you said this is part of the Elementary Movers program. What's that about?
So the Elementary Movers program is the first year of the program. Spring kickball is actually the last sport of 3 sports. And I mean, I feel like it's the trend of, this evening, but it is designed to be an introduction to like organized competitive sports.
Okay.
So it's a cool spot for kids who are in 4th and 5th grade who may be looking to keep playing and kind of take that next step when they get to middle school to actually get their feet wet.
Okay.
So in the fall we had soccer. in the winter we had basketball, and now we made it a little bit more fun than we went with kickball. You can learn some basic motor skills, but I mean, who doesn't love kickball, right?
Right. So that's after school.
Yep.
So that's different. So that is that's not also at the park, is it, or is it at the schools?
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of like what we talked about, like getting your feet wet. It's kind of a cool mix of like an after-school program, but getting used to like that after-school setup for sports. So it's 6 weeks long, once a week, so it's kind of light on the time commitment, but each of the schools that are participating, which we've had almost all of the schools across CCPS participate, it's at their school. So, they get to stay at their school. A lot of them are taught or coached by their current teachers.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and they get to play, they get to learn the sport. They get picked up afterwards, just like any other, your middle school and your high school sports. The only difference is at the end of the session, at the end of 6 weeks, they get to participate in this giant tournament, like big play day, where all of the schools come together and play at one time.
That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, it's an awesome environment too. I mean, you get you take, for basketball, we just wrapped that up 2 weeks ago at the college. We had 270 kids. So 270 kids, their parents, we had grandparents come out, we had aunts and uncles. So we had all of these people cheering and supporting, and it's really cool because of the nature of the program of being like, again, kind of getting your feet wet, kind of learning the sport. It's really geared towards supporting the kids. So instead of like the heckling and the, getting really intense about it, it's all about supporting the kids.
Yeah, like a really positive environment.
Yeah, like playing as a team and, working together to score a basket or score a goal. And it's all positive in terms of providing the kids an opportunity to like be excited going into middle school.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it sounds like it's a really, like you were saying, because it's after school, it's an easy thing to work into a family's routine.
Oh, yeah.
So how do people sign up for all of this?
So for almost all of our programs, we try to make it as easy as possible. They can either call our office number, which is 410-656-5125.
Okay.
And they can call us during regular business hours, 8 a.m. to 4:30, and we can get them registered and get them all squared away. Or they can also go online, and they can either go to cecilrec.com or cecilrec.recdesk.com, and they can register themselves there.
And that's also for the Movers program?
Yep.
Okay. Can kids sign up through their schools for that?
Not entirely. We had that before, but because for the Movers program, there's a limit on the number of kids, because obviously if you have 60 kids on a team, they won't all get to play in the tournament, which is, unfortunate. So we try to keep it as big of a team as possible so we can get as many kids as possible playing, but just small enough that everyone, when they come to the tournament, they get that experience. So they're able to work with their teacher to get signed up, but for that it's all online or over the phone.
Okay. All right. So all online or over the phone. Definitely go to the Cecil Parks and Rec website to check out the programs that they've got coming up this spring. Nick Moon, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks again, Allison.